Today I'm going to discuss with you CPTSD. What is it? What is complex post-traumatic stress disorder? What causes it? And how do you heal from it? And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Natasha Williams, and I'm a toxic relationship expert and a personal development coach. So what exactly is CPTSD? Now, we all know what PTSD is, and that is the result of a traumatic incident that actually affects the brain and can cause all sorts of physical, physiological, and psychological disorders. So you would experience lack of sleep, hypervigilance, and maybe flashbacks. And often people that are war veterans, they come home with serious flashbacks from the events that they experienced, maybe the bad situation or the circumstances that they were in, and the brain doesn't know how to process it. So there are unprocessed memories that are sitting in the subconscious mind that need to be resolved. Now, what victims of narcissistic abuse suffer from is CPTSD, and that is complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And what that means is it's not an event that happened as a singular event. It's over time, it's consistent events. It's events where you will have been beaten up, abused mentally, physically, verbally, financially, or sexually, or all of the above. And it's where you have lost your identity, where you've lost your sense of self-worth, and you're operating in a survival response. So you're walking on eggshells, you are experiencing panic attacks, you're experiencing anxiety, you might not be able to sleep at night, and even antidepressants don't help you. Even sleeping tablets don't help you. And if you just see a message on your phone and it's coming from your ex-abuser or even your current abuser, you go into a state of panic. So how do you actually deal with it? So first, you've got to understand what causes it. We have got a primitive part of our brain that's called the amygdala, that is our fight or flight response part of the brain. It's the survival mammalian brain. And whenever there's a threat or a direct threat to your physical existence, it's going to kick in, it's going to stop your conscious mind from thinking, and it's going to make you go into fight, flight, or freeze response. Now, when you go into this response mode, you're either going to want to attack or you're going to run away. But if you are in a situation where you can't do either, the adrenaline that's getting produced in your body is causing you to freeze, and that event is stuck as trauma in the body. It can't go anywhere. It's in an animal situation. A lion might be chasing a buck, and the buck eventually manages maybe to get away, and you'll see that the buck actually kicks its legs out and it gets rid of that excess adrenaline, and then it just continues to graze as if nothing happened. But we as human beings have got a memory part of our brain that stores all these traumatic memories, and it keeps alert, it keeps a lookout for that kind of incident to happen again. So you're never able to rest. Now, over time, your stress builds and builds and builds, and it gets to a point where you've actually reached a threshold where your body can't heal itself naturally anymore. It can't actually when you were younger, you were able to get a flu or a virus or something and you'd get over it quickly, or you'd hurt yourself and you'd heal fast. As you have accumulated more and more trauma in the body and you haven't been able to release it, you then start getting autoimmune diseases. That is where you start to experience the long-term diseases. So you will experience adrenal fatigue, allergies, sleeplessness, you will have muscular sclerosis, or shingles will happen. It's not the result of stress, it's the result of such long ongoing stress that your body actually has reached a tipping point, and now it's almost like the straw that broke the camel's back. And so in order to heal from that, it takes a long time, because once you've triggered the stress response in the body, you're not able to just turn it off again. And so what happens is we are living in hypervigilance mode all the time, not knowing how to tell the body that it's safe now, that you can sleep tonight, that nothing's going to come and harm you, that you're able to fend off things. Now, for those of you who do know me, I have had serious adrenal fatigue. I was in a really bad state a few years ago. I thought I was going to die. I had mold in my lungs. And even now, I still have sinus I still have, I can't smell. I'm still working on it. It's coming back slowly but surely. I might be able to smell once every 2 weeks. And that is a result of CPTSD, as a long-term, over years and years of stress, that the body needs to be able to let go of the emotional state. Now, I am 1,000 times better than I was, and I have stopped attracting that stress in my life. But you need to learn how to not just deal with it, but how to eliminate it altogether. So how do you actually eliminate it? Now, there's two parts. What's causing the stress is the memories of what happened. And the memories are there because your subconscious mind wants you to remember what happened so that you don't get hurt again. So it will understand that those trigger events that are there could cause harm, and so it's constantly on the alert looking for those events, which consumes a lot of energy. So you need to calm that alert mind down. Now, the way that it talks to you is not through the memory, but through the emotion. So the emotion is the key. It's the key to unlocking the traumatic memories. And those memories didn't start with your most recent partner. They started already in childhood. And all that's happened is you've gone and you've attracted somebody that's going to act out that same scenario that caused that same emotional state. And then you keep repeating the pattern over and over and over again. Why? So that you can heal it. And what is happening is that we're looking at the person in our environment right now, where we actually need to say, what is this a memory of? What does this remind me of? Where does this come from? And go back to your childhood. Go back to the first event that you could find where that original event happened, and heal that. Process that memory. Because when it's processed, your brain is no longer stuck in a record groove. It's not stuck in a loop that it's having to keep looking out for that same thing. It can now move on, heal that, and say, okay, I learned from it. I know that what I needed those days is not what I needed now. I have the tools. I am able to leave. I'm not stuck in freeze mode. I can fight. I can flee. I can unchoose the person that I'm with. And this is often why it's so hard for people to leave these relationships, because they're stuck in freeze mode. Now, here's an interesting thing. I know a lot of people say, I know when I am older and then they're young, they say, I'm not going to find a partner that's like my mom's partner. I'm not going to find someone who's like my dad. I'm going to find somebody who loves me, and then that person's going to look after me, and I'll never have fights again. And then what do? They attract a partner into their life that is abusive, like their father or their mother or whoever was abusing them. And the thing is, when they attract that person, they don't understand why. And the reason is because when you are a child and you are stuck in that fight, flight, freeze response, you can't go, you can't leave when that happens. And then you say to yourself, when you're thinking rationally and logically, and the blood is flowing through your brain, that this is what I can do next time. This is how I could get out of it. But when you are in that relationship, it triggers that same survival mode response. And so when the person starts attacking you, you go back into that freeze mode that you did when you were 5 years old. You go back into that childlike state where you didn't know how to cope with it because you haven't developed your internal strength muscles. You haven't developed your conscious mind to say, I have the tools now. I know how to deal with it now. If I could deal with it then, I can deal with it now. And so what happens is you need to heal the past memories so that you're not stuck in that child mode anymore. And you start wiring your conscious brain to think better. This is often why when you are maybe having an argument with somebody, that you always think of something you could have said or should have said about 20 minutes or an hour afterwards, because now the blood is flowing to your logical brain and you start to realize this is what actually was going on. But now it's too late, the events happened and you were stuck in confrontation mode. And that's often why a lot of empaths hate confrontation. They would rather avoid it at all costs and suffer through the misery than go into confrontation. But what you need to learn is assertiveness is not the same as confrontation. Assertiveness is about being clear where you stand. Confrontation is about telling the other person where they stand and what it is that they are doing wrong. And so it's about identifying your needs and being very firm, very clear, very calm about it, but very strong. And that is something that you've got to build. It's your strength muscle. It's your inner empowerment muscle that you've got to work on. And then also you need to support your body. So if you're suffering from post-traumatic stress, your body is needing to relax. So any kind of caffeine or vitamins or anything that's going to heighten it up means that your body is going to produce more and more adrenaline. And especially if you're having coffee late at night, or tea, or something that's, or caffeinated beverages, you're not going to be able to sleep because your whole sleep cycle has been disrupted. Now, what sleeping tablets do is they allow you to sleep, but you don't get the real natural chemical release that your body produces. And so you wake up in the morning tired because you didn't experience the dream state. You didn't experience a theta healing state. And so you wake up in the morning tired, you want to sleep all day, and you wake up at night and you're awake all night. And you need to break that cycle. So the best, quickest way to heal from CPTSD is to heal your traumas by going through the emotions, by going through the memories. And this is not the same as going to a psychologist and talking about the pain, and talking about the past. If anything, that's actually going to aggravate it. It's going to make it worse. And there might be a lot of psychologists listening to this who are going to disagree with me. And I have had a lot of clients that have said to me that this has caused them more pain and anxiety because they didn't heal the emotional trauma that went with it. They need closure. They don't need to rehash the memory. And so the work, as I call it, is that you heal, and you heal that unprocessed memory so that it doesn't have a hole in you anymore. And that is how your body is now freed up. That's how your mind is freed up from all these triggers to actually be able to heal your body faster. So it doesn't have to focus anymore on looking out for red flags. It can actually focus on the areas of your body that need healing. So let's say you are capable of handling 100% stress. When you're having CPTSD, you've got 150% stress, and your body cannot get round to healing itself. So when you reduce the stress levels, you're then allocating cells and whatever is fighting the disease, the immune disease, to start healing the body, and that is how you assist it. I hope this helps you. If you'd like to have a call with me and find out how the work actually works and do a process with me, click on the link below and I will gladly share it with you, because to me it's about getting the word out there and letting people understand they don't have to live in this misery for the rest of their lives. You don't have to be living in panic and anxiety. It's completely a waste of time. When you can heal your memories and you stop having flashbacks, your life will change forever. You have an awesome day.